Okay, so I think we are recording. So
All
yeah,
right.
we can go ahead and get started. So yeah, my first question was just how did you first get involved in Poe and Pints? And even if you want to take sort of a bigger picture approach, like how did you first get involved in performing just in general?
Well, for me, that's a short story because they're both one and the same. I'd never been to a play before. I was, except for like in school and in grade school and whatnot. And I think it was 2015. Our local radio host, Sandy Beeler, got me to go to Poe and Pints 2015. And I just thought it was awesome. I'd never been to a grown up play before, if you want to call it that. And I was just blown away by it and started hanging out with some of them after the shows. And eventually I got, play on words, dragged into doing a Rocky Horror Picture Show. Been with the theater group ever since.
Oh, okay. So you said this was back in 2015?
Yeah, that was my first time watching. And then I joined the group in 2017.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. So, and one thing you could consider doing, you could turn your camera off and just leave your audio on if you wanted to, and that way
Okay.
we would just have your audio. We wouldn't have to worry about the phone location.
All right. Let's try that. Not sure how to do that. I don't want to risk hanging up on you.
Oh, okay. That's fine. We can just leave it as is. Let's not take any chances.
All right. They can just stare down my ear. If it's dirty, I'm sorry. I just got off work. I was washing equipment, so there's probably some black stuff in there I haven't had a chance to wash out yet.
Okay. So what is your day job?
I work for Canyon Construction. Janitor, parts getter, fill in, flagger for construction, escort heavy equipment, whatever they need for the day.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very cool. All right. So my next question, can you just maybe talk a little bit about sort of your individual process as a performer? Like how do you get ready for a show? How do you sort of get into character? Like what are some things that you typically do?
Well, I read the part, and usually I like to listen to the story, whatever where it's based off of, if there's any other input. I know some people don't do that, and they try to, quote unquote, come up with their own, but I like to read the source material and try to figure out, the time and the era and everything. And plus, I'm a big fan of foreign films, so I do pretty okay with the accents because I'm a big fan of like Guy Ritchie and Colin Farrell and whatnot.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. And can you talk a little bit about just like how you guys rehearse like as a group, like sort of like what are some basic things you guys do uh, just to help you get ready? I mean, beyond just obviously having a rehearsal schedule.
Yeah, well, I think the formula seems to be that since I've been with the group, just kind of read through it the first couple times, and it's okay to, in those first couple weeks, you're trying to find the tone and take advice from your director. Try, those first few weeks are flexible. You get to try a few different things with the character. Try reading it a few different, get whatever laughs you have out of the way, and then those last few weeks, we kind of, tighten up the ship and start getting down into character, getting our lines, and try to get off book and have it recorded. Sometimes you gotta. Some of us, I'm probably one of the worst ones at remembering. Like, sorry, I have to put in a little extra time on my weekends and whatnot to remember the lines.
Okay. Yeah, and like with adapting some of these older texts with sort of older language in some cases, is that ever a challenge to try to sort
Oh
of?
God, yes. Arabesque. That word was giving me a lot of trouble early on. During readings, I'd say arabesque or whatever the hell I was saying, and sorry, I don't mean to say that, but I'll watch my language. But yeah, I was having some trouble with that word, and Yeah, kept hearing in the background, Airbus. Yes, yes, I'll get it. I'll swear.
Yeah, well, that's what
Some of them I have to Google. Like, wait, how do you say that?
yeah. Yeah, I would imagine that could pose some challenges. Yeah, and so like just like what are your feelings towards some of these authors? Like uh, but like before you started doing this, like were you familiar with Poe and some of these other authors that you guys work with, or have you just really gotten familiar with them over the last few years?
Oh, I'd say I've gone familiar. I only knew like the, whatever the Simpsons parodied on their Halloween special about Poe. The
Actually, a
classic.
pretty good version
Tale.
of the Raven. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Nevermore, about your um. But no, yeah, probably. I think my fellow castmates are sick of hearing about it. But the first one I went to had one I never heard of called Hop Frog, and at the
Uh-huh.
end, when he freaking cooks everybody that was tormenting him, I was like, holy crap, I was blown away. And 6 years later, getting to play that was a huge honor, and that was my favorite so far. And I really loved diving into that, especially so we have to edit these for a crowd on the spot, that's not sitting down reading. So little things get left out. And again, why I like to read the source material, because it helps you find out like, oh, it was actually Hop Frog's birthday. And he in his own mind, he's thinking about how his friends would hold a celebration. He's not mistreated in his homeland where he was taken from. Only they beat him here and everything and mistreat him. And so to, have those little elements in your own mind, at least help you with the character, with the, whether it's sadness or joy or anger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very cool. And I know this year you guys you're sort of working with several texts, a couple by Poe, I think one by Lovecraft, but then you're also,
Mm-hmm.
according to Derek, you guys are like fusing a short story by Poe along with like fusing it with a couple of poems by Robert Browning. So like how exactly does that work? How do you guys sort of combine multiple texts? Like is there a certain kind
Oh
of
man,
process for that?
I'm not a writer. I haven't written anything yet, so I'm the wrong person to ask on that. Unfortunately, that's a good question. I would be curious about myself. No, I haven't written anything yet. I'm more of a traditionalist as long as it's not breaking things. I'm that guy online arguing not to do remakes,
Okay.
but to go check out the classic. But whatever. I didn't know that, so I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess, yeah, my final question that I was going to ask everybody is like, sort of what do you hope that the audience will take away from the performance? Like kind of what are some general things that you're hoping people will get out of this?
Oh, I just hope they get lost in it and have a good time. It's I've been on both sides of Poe, sitting in the audience and performing it, and yeah, it's just I don't know. I think trying to say this without sounding mean, because I think a lot of people maybe today think too much of their own personal opinions when they should just be entertaining. That the job of the entertainer, I think, is to entertain, and not. If somebody finds motivation out of it, that's great. But really, it's for me, it's escapism. If you can tell a story that they'll be thinking of for days, and whether it hits them deeply or in a funny way or in a motivational, whatever it is, I just hope they feel something out of it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I guess, yeah, sort of my final thought is, I teach Poe, my background's American literature. So, in my experience, a lot of people like Poe's stories, but he can be challenging to read. A lot of my students sort of struggle with him, struggle with some of his poems,
Yeah,
stories. The language is obviously quite a bit different. But when I've attended Poe and Pints in the past and just looking at the crowds, looking at how many people come and enjoy those performances, I don't know that all of those people would necessarily want to sit down and read Poe, but there is something about
exactly.
stories that sort of have this enduring appeal. So yeah, I mean, what do you think about that? Like, what is it about some of these stories, even though they're old and the language is strange to many, like what makes the stories still pretty popular even today?
I think just the human element, and he writes a lot about insanity, and I think that all those moments where it's just people lost in their own head, good or bad. A lot of people live in their head and maybe don't realize it, and I think they can relate to that, maybe even in a scary way. But I think it's like the story's great, but as you say, it's just the style of writing at the time was to stretch things out and maybe give a little too much detail. So I got to give credit to our writers for telling a 180-page story in 10 minutes. and cutting right to the chase of that, of what he was trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's not easy to do.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, there's certain movies, even myself, like I know other people don't like them because they're 3 hours long, but I can force myself to sit through them because I can appreciate, all the slow burn to the 20 minutes. But yeah, most of the audience isn't going to watch a movie. I think there's a lot of great foreign films out there, and 90% of the American audience is missing them because they don't want to read subtitles.
Right.
I think it falls along those lines.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of effort involved, but sometimes the effort can be worth it, right? If you're willing to work hard at it. Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll get you out of here on this final question. I mean, is there any particular role that you're looking forward to the most this year?
Very, very much so. Very much so. Next year, hopefully, I've been told nothing's written on paper yet. So I gotta remind some people, maybe nudge, give a little elbow nudge, but to get it finalized. But in late March or early April, I will be performing and helping write and direct my directorial debut. 12 Angry Men. We'll do a 12 Angry Jurors, do a mixed cast, but I think it's one of the greatest stories ever told, and I'm really looking forward to putting it on for the crowd.
Oh, great. And you said that's going to be in March?
Hopefully, fingers crossed. Like I said, nothing's written. Late March, early April next year, hopefully.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll definitely keep my eyes and ears out for that. And yeah, thanks so much for taking out some time from your day to talk to me. It was really great, and I'm looking forward to seeing the performance. I'll be at opening night of Poe and Pints, so I'm looking forward to that.
Great. All right, awesome, man. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, bye.